All right, we are live. All right, we have 2 viewers in here. So today we're going to be talking about, trying to go live, see how this works. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me come back over here. You guys hear me all right? Yes, hello, hi. Someone comment, let me know that you can hear me. Who do we have in here so far? All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about the crypto market. The market's been going down. I want to get some of your feedback, see what some of you guys think about that. Just gonna give it a minute or two more. Let some more people get up in here. So the market's been going down a bit. I almost came on live last night. I decided not to, but the market's going down a bit, and it's kind of interesting, kind of seeing what people are thinking about why the market's going down. I would love to get some of your feedback. I've got my own opinions. I saw someone said that they thought the market was going down because of the major hurricane that hit the southeast U.S., and I just thought that's probably the funniest thing that I've heard, to be honest with you. I mean, all right. Are you guys able to see my screen? Can you hear me okay? All right, let me see if I can. Oh, hopefully you're able to see my screen just fine. All right. So supposedly the market's gone down because of the entire a storm. That's what one person said. Someone else said it's because of the rest of the financial markets going down. I don't know if I necessarily believe any of that. I mean, to see the top cryptocurrencies all going down in sync, I'm more likely to believe in some sort of market manipulation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was intentional, like some people think that it's a conspiracy that there's market manipulation that occurs and it's done in such a way to hurt other people, like to hurt the market as a whole. I don't know if that's the case or if it's some large financial firm taking profits right now. I think that's far more likely to be the case, that somebody's trying to take profits. But you know what's the amazing thing about going down, okay? So as the market goes down, you know what's not going down? Two things. HDX20 token not going down. I think that's amazing. Proof of weekends. Check this out. Come over here to chart. This is incredible. I mean, finally, it looks like the proof of weekend starts going slow, probably because I'm streaming. It looks like it's finally really doing what it should have been, and that's creating volatility going up and down. I think the biggest Achilles heel to Prince is that the focus is probably a little bit too much on the token, 10% in, 10% out. And the proof is because everyone who creates clones try to go, they've almost all tried to go bigger, 15% in, 15% out, 20% in, 25% out, and people are like, oh, we need dividends, so we need higher percentages. Look at this. No, if you want dividends, you want more volatility. You want people to have a reason to buy and sell. You want it to be easy for people to buy and sell. You want them to have regret, think about, oh, but I'm going to lose 20% if I get out. So the token balance first, I should default to that. The tokens come down, 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 and it's headed back up. This is look at it, 6-hour chart. It's coming down and it's headed back up, and we've got some good volatility going on. And I think this is awesome. This is what we really want to see. 1-hour chart. So this is 1 hour. It's come down, come back up. All that's doing is creating dividends. And P3D smart contracts do not care that the rest of the market is down. They simply do not care. And I think this is incredible. I'm a long-term view, I'm really a bit of a Bitcoin maximalist. And behind that, I'm probably into Ethereum. And behind Ethereum, it's smart contracts. And there's several reasons for that. I think Bitcoin is a primary currency. I do think that we're in a world that's headed towards digital currency. Follow that up, I think Ethereum is kind of the digital programmable platform, although it's got its own problems. And I think there's a good shot that something could overtake Ethereum potentially one day. But it's a long ways from doing it. I mean, EOS, arguably, some people think EOS, I think, could do it, but that remains to be seen. Smart contracts, I mean, what's taking place, what Proof of Kansas is doing, it is amazing. DX20 is doing is amazing. Two uses of smart contracts, different uses. The one's necessarily a clone of the other one. And it's quite fascinating. You guys see me? I'm hoping you can see me. Someone chat, say hello. You guys can see that. Anyway, if you have any questions, put them down below. But what I want to go through is oh, one more thing. Do you know what else isn't taking a dump in this market? Some of the masternode coins. Masternodes are fascinating. A lot of them are smaller cap coins, and because they're smaller cap coins, what ends up happening is they're just not affected by the market the same. A lot of times when someone's in a masternode, let's just say it has a market cap of $1 million, you know, and it only has a market cap of $1 million. Well, and a lot of those masternodes are a couple million or less. Those tend to be investors that are really, in other words, this is probably occurring because of some large financial institutional investing, some hedge fund type investing. Something's going on here that doesn't look quite right to me. The investors that's going to be in a lot of your masternode coins. I'm just curious if Dash is affected the same way it is. A lot of your smaller cap coins, it's not just masternodes, but a lot of your smaller type of investor that are in those coins, it's not the type of investment that something like a large Goldman Sachs or Goldman Sachs type, you know, whatever large financial institution, whether it's a Chinese institution, Japanese institution, it doesn't matter, Korean institution, it doesn't matter. Institutions would be smaller cap coins and a lot of smaller cap coins. So some of them have very little movement. And I've noticed masternode coins going up, which I always think is fascinating. It does make sense to me that it's up, by the way. And the reason that it makes sense is, and I'll tell you another thing that I like about masternode coins, smart contracts. The reason that masternode coins will oftentimes go up is because they're earning a return. They're going down. If you own Bitcoin and it goes down, you just lose Bitcoin. You own Ethereum, it goes down, you just lose value in Ethereum. But if you have a smart contract, for example, or a masternode, then you're earning some sort of reward. Masternode, you're literally earning a reward that pays out like in the token. So for some investors, it's almost like a little bit of a save. I'm losing Bitcoin. Let me get out of there. I've got this other small coin, and it's, you know, earning me staking rewards or masternode rewards daily or weekly. Let me go over there. At least I can sell my rewards and earn an income stream. You can't do that if you own Bitcoin. You can't do it if you own Ethereum. The advantage of masternodes over Ethereum, though, is Ethereum. All of your smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain, like the HDX20 token and Proof of Kansas 3D, both of those are priced in Ethereum. So if Ethereum goes down, you lose quote unquote fiat value, the US dollar value, if Ethereum goes down. But if you own smart contracts, they're typically priced in Bitcoin. Those tokens are priced in Bitcoin. So yes, you lose in relation to Bitcoin, but they don't move in sync with Bitcoin. The price doesn't necessarily move in sync with Bitcoin, the way that Ethereum and smart contracts do. See if there's any questions over here. One more thing that let's look at the news. Let's talk about the news, because I think the news is fascinating right now. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, that was it actually. So there's several things. First of all, I saw this. Elizabeth Warren, cryptocurrency is easy to steal. Listen, you're going to hear this. It's important that you understand that John Q. Public is always manipulated based off of fear. Always based off of fear. The average public will give up all sorts of rights and freedoms for an attempt to be guaranteed that they're safe. The biggest headwind that Bitcoin will ever have for being a mainstream adoption is that people will have to lose so much faith in their governments on a massive scale that it does people still are willing to take their own future in their own hands. I think one day, I don't know if it will happen. There are other paths that Bitcoin could become a mass adoption, but it would be the politicians realizing that that's where they need to go. And I think politicians are more likely to move to creating their own currency. In fact, that was somewhere. One of these news stories, I think it was, we're trying to their own cryptocurrency. Journalism. I'm not seeing it. Oh, so here we go. Someone who does not know what they're talking about. Cryptocurrency sell off. Bitcoin plummets. Abruptly dropped $200 in value. Widespread cryptocurrency sell off took place and has slowed down since. Sure. Whatever. I mean, the worst thing about financial news is people talk on platforms as if they have authority. People have no more indication of why. It's nothing but just conjecture. Don't believe much of the hype that you see out there. Besides, the reality is people saying that 6,000 is going to be the bottom. Who knows where the bottom is? Here's what dropped in 24 hours. Big whoop. I mean, I've seen Bitcoin drop 20%, and I've seen it go up 20%. 4% is not even a big deal. But anyway, so Elizabeth Warren, cryptocurrency is easy to steal. This is a politician in the U.S., and this is going to be the thing. I think it's fascinating to read on forums. People are like, "Oh, the powers that be, big money, big politicians love cryptocurrency. They're trying to manipulate the market." Yeah, I don't. Yes, I think large financial opportunists may try to manipulate the market. I don't think the political system is on board yet. The mainstream political system is on board yet, and they're trying to manipulate the market. I actually think the mainstream political system fears anything that they can't control, and that is. I mean, listen. There's a documentary out there. I should have pulled it up. Money as Debt. I talk about this often on my channel. If you haven't seen that video, you should watch it. It's fascinating. You'll see why the American government and the Canadian government, for that matter, but especially the American government, European government, but why they would never. I mean, it makes a solid case on what would happen in the U.S. predominantly, because that's what it's about. You would see what would happen if digital currency, like something like Bitcoin, became. I mean, the U.S. could not function. I mean, it literally would grind. The U.S. financial system is built on something called reserve banking, which requires the ability to endlessly borrow money. And the Federal Reserve is able to literally print money. No other central bank on the planet can. If they could do that, well, we would just. I mean, money wouldn't be worth anything. Everybody would run towards something like Bitcoin. But the U.S. government literally pays off its debts by simply printing more money. No one else. No other country, no other central bank can do that, but it's because the dollar was called the world reserve currency. Cryptocurrency would not allow that sort of manipulation to occur, and that would be a good thing, because that sort of manipulation ultimately affects, the 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old that's been saving their entire life for retirement. Their money's worth a lot less. Cryptocurrency is amazing. It's not inflatable. I mean, if anything, it's deflatable. It almost becomes worth more over time. Cryptocurrencies get lost, et cetera, et cetera. Enough about that. Let's take a look at this. Indian government is evaluating the launch of its own cryptocurrency sources. See, this is where governments will do fully electronic. Currently, in a lot of countries, people fear you know, if I could not ever have that, all I could ever see is no people that fear that, like they older people, but cryptocurrency is going to make people feel a lot better about that. So I believe that before there's a full-on grasp of centralized currencies, there's first going to be centralized cryptocurrencies like this one. I think Venezuela is talking about doing it as well if they didn't already. Brazil has talked about creating their own cryptocurrency as well. I am fully certain that you can find potential articles out there where the U.S. government has already evaluated it. In fact, I'm sure they have. Listen, the U.S. government, the politicians in our society, the greatest, so to speak, in politics in the U.S., they clearly know that our current financial system is in trouble, and they've been kicking the can down the road for decades, and they may be continuing to kick it down the road for another decade. Who knows? Or more, but they do realize that reckoning where they're going to have to do something a little bit. So my belief, especially as citizens are more used to dealing with their own private key, they understand cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, and then eventually it's like, why are we allowing this to be centralized? Why don't we use something like Bitcoin? And I think that's going to be, that's is all fascinating. Cryptocurrency selling that Fortnite on the blockchain, it could soon be a possibility. The reason this is huge is because 20 Discord, there's some talk about them creating first-person type shooter game, and that is clearly on the roadmap of the devs. The devs, what makes this token unique, unlike things that are out there that are smart contracts, is the devs are all about creating a business model, and the token is basically a byproduct of that business model. The whole idea for the dev holding the token is creating, he's looking or she's looking at when the game's created, there's automatically built-in interest. It's it's marketing 101. You know, if you get 1,000 people literally invested into your token, when you roll out a new game, you got 1,000 people or 10,000 people paying attention. You got 1,000 suddenly rooting to see that game succeed. Now, it doesn't guarantee success. Proof of Weekends found that with their FOMO game. It doesn't guarantee success, but it does guarantee, and Cans also found that out with all the other decentralized apps that they have. I mean, their whole sacrifice game, that thing gets a lot of play. It's really interesting. Third parties are wanting to, you know, participate and contribute, and there's these third-party games that other developers have created. They're very simple games, but those games would probably get little to no traction. However, because there's a community behind the P3D token, I mean, you can go in the Discord, there are people always playing those games. That's why I think the community is what's going to drive Proof of Hands further than anything else. They've already got a solid community. I mean, there's 36,000 ETH in the contract. What's that? The equivalent of, let's go to the USD value. Is that 7 million? Yeah. Yep. $7.1 million worth of value at current Ethereum prices. Now, Ethereum has been as high as, you know, $500. That's over $14 million. Think about how many individual people that is. That's thousands probably in this community. And so then when there's a new game, there's obviously, it only takes a small percentage to get traction, to give traction. And it's like anything else. You cannot launch a successful game. Everything is marketing, and you need a captive audience. And these tokens are, the community around these tokens are a way to create a captive audience. And this is a fascinating community. Oh, this is one of my videos. This is a fascinating community. You can look down in the description, by the way. I have the links to, if you want to purchase HDX20 token. Whether you want to support my channel and use a referral link or not, the links are down below. But it's fascinating what they're looking at doing, and the ability, let's see. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this game. I don't know if it'll come up with me streaming. But graphically, it's incredible what's taking place, what they're doing. And they've talked about a first-person floater. What if you could create something like Fortnite? Now that's that's a tall order. Okay, that's a tall order, but it's not impossible. And whether you know it or not, these different website, Ether9.io, totally different website. You don't have to go to the H20 website to realize that the developer is looking totally standalone. And if you see my other video about, he's looking for games to go mainstream. He's not just trying to build up a community around a token. In the beginning, he would love to see participation, help the game some traction early on. But ultimately, he wants the games to go mainstream. If the games go mainstream, that's just going to continue to drive the price of the token up all by itself. So, very, very interesting stuff that we've got. I want to come back and I want to comment on a couple of the comments I had. I want to make a comment on a couple of the comments that I had. I want to comment on a couple of the comments. I want to talk about some of the comments I had on my previous videos. So specifically, this gentleman here, Chronicles of Jay. And I think this is important. Quite a few smart contracts have lost many investors money, daily divs, no dividends, whatever that is. It is quite brave to promote any new ones without any audit being done. I only invested in F3D, P3D, FOMO 3D, and Proof of Weak Hands 3D. Since it was audited, many devs turned out to be technically hackable with no back doors. I understand down, but SC, I don't know what that means. That comes out won't be better in the long term. Clearly, he had done his research. Anyone who follows my channel knows that I don't go hopping on things. I just don't jump on one project to the next. I just simply don't do it. And what I told him was that I was in P3D before it was audited. Listen, in this space, if you purchase tokens and somehow you lose money because, I don't know, the smart contract isn't solid, and find that out in the future or whatever, I think that's the only way you could lose money, if it's somehow the smart contract wasn't solid. If you don't, you're responsible for your own purchase. You're responsible for your own money. You're not gonna, if I tell you that I'm gonna do something and I end up making a thing, but you do it better and you make 10 million, you're not gonna kick me back $1 million in the next year or two after you have success. You're just not. And guess what? If you lose money, you're responsible. Listen, don't ever be stupid enough to watch my channel and think that I'm giving financial advice where I'm suggesting that you do something because I'm doing it. No, that's not it at all. That's one of the reasons I also have a non-referral link down here. Like, feel free to go check it out. I have a vested interest in the platform do well because I bought into the platform. It's also interesting content. But the reason I buy into the platform, first and foremost, is because I believe in what's attempting to take place. But there's a lot of risk, just like there's a lot of risk in the cryptocurrency space. A lot of risk. I was in Proof of Weak Hands 3D long before that thing got audited. There was I think it was called Crypto was his name, or Crypto Walk or whatever, and he basically walked through the entire smart contract and kind of audited it publicly on YouTube for Proof of Weak Hands 3D. No one's done that for HDX 20, and I'm not a developer. I have no way of knowing if that contract is solid. I don't think the developer would have a poor contract. But let's take a look if it loads it, reload it, load. In the meantime, I wonder if you guys are able to. I'll find once this video is done and it loads up. All right, this is my latest video. Chronicle made another comment. I wanted to kind of this comment. But basically, what he said was, he said that he believed in the developer research. By the research you got to do, come to the HDX20 website, click on right here, and I don't know if it's going to come up. Probably not because I'm streaming. I'm at a hotel on a internet, a slow internet service. But if you go there, well, you'll end up seeing developers' websites, other games they've created and stuff like that, and some of the games you may have a couple. Let's see. Does not come up. It's based on the they've got experience. Maybe the contract is solid. Not guarantee return. Guaranteeing. They're not giving guaranteed returns. They're not saying we promise you're going to earn 10%, 5%. They are saying you should own an Ethereum. I don't know. Maybe. Should they be saying that? By the way, this is an HDX20 dev website, the developers website. Guaranteed Ponzi scheme. New investors have to pay out old investors. And you can guess what the fee is. I mean, I don't consider that Ethereum is considered money by government jurisdiction, and I don't think most of them even consider Ethereum money legally, except for tax purposes. They because of taxes, but then you'd also have to say only 4%, or maybe a total of 8%. 8% of your investment goes to pay investors. Is that a Ponzi scheme? It's 8% or 4% or 3% or 2%. Is that a Ponzi scheme? Well, this is that website. So this is some of the other games they've created. So do they have this potential to develop something like a Fortnite? I don't know. They definitely can create some great graphical games. So they're definitely looking towards gaming, and that's really their focus, is to be able to create great games that tie into the, I don't know exactly how it's going to tie in, but they want to tie into the token, the HDX token, the HDX20 token. So, the idea that some of the Ponzi scheme, listen, and oh, he also said, I don't know if it came up, he also said, I want to make sure I said it right. As I mentioned, here we go. As I mentioned in the previous video, I like the fact that the team has developed games in the past. My only worry is that the community is not big, active enough. That's a potential. However, I understand this only launched last week. I'm hoping Team HDX starts to develop more innovative games that are engaged. Fun with 3D, like 24-hour countdowns. Yeah, I agree with that. That's not okay. I guess I'm not seeing his other comment. I agree with that 100%, and I think that that's their plan. I think that they must have already started the development of this new game, of the current game they have, before they saw FOMO die. I mean, FOMO is an interesting game, but there's nothing to keep people playing it. Once it starts to die out, then it's on a downward trend. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But at the end of the day is this. The market's going down. The news is crazy. What should you be doing right now? If you believe in the long-term future, you're always buying. You're always researching. You're always studying. Go look at documentaries. Go research blockchain. Go research cryptocurrencies. Go research use cases. Go money as debt. Start understanding why there's massive potential here. Be careful listening to pundits on YouTube or on television who seem to act as if they have all the answers on what's going on. TSA saw Bitcoin in my bag and wanted to count it. Oh, that's great. I still want to watch that video. So the bottom line is this. Oh, this is a real Ponzi scheme. You get Bernie Madoff, $15 billion Ponzi. But when you look at something like, let's talk about Ponzi schemes for just a minute. A Ponzi scheme is when new money is typically used to pay off old money. And typically it's trickery involved. Think of BitConnect, think of Bernie Madoff. In both cases, they claimed something was happening with the money that was not happening. Bernie Madoff was supposed to be investing it. BitConnect was supposed to be you're supposed to be lending them their token to be able to trade using their some sort of bot supposedly. And it was based off of arbitraging the price point. You guessed that, by the way, arbitraging the price point. Some of you call that. And then you got paid a return. Now, there are things out there that are currently, there are some, transparent Ponzi schemes. A transparent Ponzi scheme would probably be something like Daily Div's lending platform. Why they call it a lending platform is only for marketing, because there's nothing lending related to it. I guess you're lending them the token to hold. I don't know. And the reason is because Daily Divs, like, it's very clear, they have a sustainability pot, because at some point they cannot keep putting more money in the pot than investors collecting at some point. So you can clearly see it's sustainable. Just because you know it's a Ponzi scheme doesn't mean that it's legal to participate in it, by the way. However, the HDX20 token proof of weak hands, that's totally a different ball game. That they're not misrepresenting what they're doing, and they're not using new money to pay old money. Now, there is some argument that the FOMO and even the game for HDX20, I mean, there is a part of that where you buy in and you got quote unquote shares, and people who buy in after you earn off those shares. I mean, you're far more likely to call that some version of a Ponzi scheme than you would be the actual tokens in and of itself. And I can kind of see that, because you're like buying shares because you're first in, and then as people buy in, you're getting a percentage of a small percentage of their money, basically. So if you wanted to say some of the games are operating like a Ponzi scheme, I could agree with that. And I really like to see them, both of them, I would like to see them get away from games like that that are so just financially focused. And I think HDX20 is definitely on the path to be able to do that. So I've rambled on enough here. I don't even know if this is even working the way that it's supposed to work. I've only ever gone live one other time, but hopefully you've enjoyed this. Have an awesome day. Leave a comment down below if you can once this video is uploaded. Let me know if you like to do another one in the future. Thank you so much for watching.